Okay. So for your homework, I gave you a couple sheets of paper, and I want you to fold them into a booklet with the interpreting situation graphs on the front side. Okay, so it says divide each graph into sections where the graph changes directions. Then label the sections as increasing, decreasing, or same. Okay, so right here I have this first chunk till it hits that kind of corner and starts to bend. And so that is a flat line. It's a horizontal line. So the temperature, it didn't go up and it didn't go down, so that would be same. Okay, then we have another little chunk, and that is, if you're tracing it with your finger, that's starting to go down, right? So the temperature started up here, and then it's slowly going down and finished, right about here. So that would be a decreasing section. Okay, now again, we have a flat section. So we would say that that is the same. It stayed the same. It did not go up. It did not go down. So the temperature right there remained the same. Okay, so if you look at the axis, this is time and temperature. Okay, and then the very last section, it starts low and heads up. So that would be an increasing section. Okay, same thing for graph B. Again, we have time and temperature. Okay, so up here, temperature starts relatively high, and it starts going down, down, down to about half of what it started, so that would be decreasing. Okay, then we have it leveled off here, stays the same. Then we start here and we go down a little bit more. So again, that's decreasing. And then we're here and we go up just a little bit, right? So that close to flat, but it's not quite flat. It is increasing just a little bit. Okay, so 3 says, which graph above shows that the air temperature fell steadily, then leveled off, fell again, and then increased slightly? Well, if I look at the first graph, it stayed the same at the beginning. And here it says it fell steadily at the beginning. So those don't match. So let's look at graph B. So graph B, yep, it did go down. Then it stayed the same, which would be leveling off. Then it fell again, that's right, and then increased slightly. So this would be graph B. Okay, so now this one says sketch a graph of each situation and then tell whether it's continuous or discrete. Okay, so the first one says the heart rate of somebody walking, then running, then resting. Okay, so your heart rate. You're just sitting on the couch watching TV. Where would your heart rate be? Well, would it be 0? Does your heart not beat when you sit on the couch? No, you'd be dead if it was 0, right? Okay, so your heartbeat, it starts somewhere in the middle, right? When you're just sitting around, it's 70, 80 beats per minute, right? Okay, so we're going to start in the middle because your heart is already beating before you start, even if you're just watching TV. Okay, now you're going to start walking. So what's going to happen to your heart rate when your muscles start moving, your body's got to start doing some work? Well, it's going to go up, right? Okay, so we're going to go up a little bit. Start walking, it's going to go up. Okay, then you start running. So then what's going to happen to your heart rate? Well, you're working even harder, so now it's going to go up maybe even faster. Okay, so it's going up, up, up. Okay, now once you get running, you get into your groove, is it going to keep going up forever, your heart rate? No, eventually you start running, it kind of levels off, at 150, 160 beats per minute, right? So then it's going to stay flat while you keep running, keep exerting energy. Okay, then you start to rest. Okay, start walking again, start going back to sit on the couch. And it's going to start falling again, right? Fall, fall, fall until you get back to the couch and sit down, and it goes back to where you started at. Okay, but notice it does not start at 0 because your heart rate is never 0. Not until the day they put you in the ground, right? Okay. All right. Then it says Ivy is selling ice cream. Each ice cream costs $1.50. She has 6 ice creams to sell. Okay, so at the bottom we have the number of ice creams, and on the side we have her total money. And the scale is hard to see, but it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if she sells 1 ice cream, how much money does she make? Well, one ice cream is $1.50. So in between 1 and 2, we're going to put a dot. 2 ice creams would make her $3 total. 3 ice creams would be $4.50. 4 would be $6. 5 would be $7.50. And 6 would be $9. Okay, can she sell 7 ice creams? Well, yeah, maybe, but does she have 7 to sell? No, she only has 6 ice creams to sell. So we have to stop at ice creams sold equals 6 because she has no more. Okay, let's go back to this. It says, tell whether the graph is continuous or discrete. Okay, so a continuous graph is one where it's all lines and they're all connected. There's no gaps in it. Okay? You can also think about continuous as something that has to be measured. Okay, so when you think about heart rate, in order to figure out your heart rate, you have to measure your heart rate, right? With a heart rate monitor or something like that. Okay, so that's something that's measured. So the first one is going to be continuous. Okay, discrete is something that you have to count, or it's something that you can't have like a half of or a third of. So if we're talking about Ivy selling ice creams, she has to sell somebody a complete ice cream bar, right? Nobody's going around saying, okay, can I have 2/3 of that ice cream bar, right? And she's going to say, no, you have to buy the whole thing, right? Okay, so discrete is something that you count. So I would count the number of ice cream bars she sold. 1, 2, 3, however many she sold. I would not measure that. I would count that, okay? And then also, with discrete, it doesn't make sense for her to have 1.2 ice cream bars on her graph, right? Because she's never going to sell 1.2. She's either going to sell 1 whole one or 2 whole ones or 3 whole ones, right? She's not going to sell a fraction of an ice cream bar. She's selling whole ice cream bars. So notice my graph only consists, it's only whole numbers when I'm talking about the number of ice creams sold. So that's something I count. So continuous is something that you measure, and discrete is something that you count. Okay, I did the first page with you. To complete your homework, I would like you to do the back page, or the back of that first page, which is practice B. So just that 1 through 6 on practice B. I want you to finish that for your homework, and then we'll finish the rest of the packet next time. So finish this page. Make sure you have everything from the front copied down.